Oh dear, oh dear. Well, welcome back to the kitchen. Been having a little bit of problems with 8 tracks. Um, yes, I know. All us older buggers will say, yeah, we all did. That's why we've got cassettes or CDs or we kept our vinyl or whatever. But this is one of Vintage Sound's 14's tapes. One of the problems with these is that because it's on a continuous loop, this bobbin here is actually endless. Of course, there has to be a way to join the two ends together. And what they did was quite cunning, really, because they used a length of alley tape to splice the two ends together. And what that does is, as the machine plays, it winds it past two electrodes next to the playhead, where it creates a short circuit. And this fires a big solenoid, which is responsible for the familiar ka-chink sound when they change channel. And the solenoid fires the head up and down, actually moves the head upwards and downwards in relation to the tape in order to play the 4 different stereo tracks on it. But of course, after 40 years, or however long it's been, the glue tends to go on this stuff, and occasionally you'll end up with it parting company. This is what's happened here, I think. The tape itself seems okay. You can actually see there the graphite that they coat the underside of the tape with, and this is done to ease its passage as it all slides into the middle there, and there's usually a little bit of slack as well. Now these Memorex tapes, it's a strange design. Most just have the tape go straight onto the spool, but this design comes down here, goes around this post and then onto the spool. So yeah, that's a bit of a strange a little quirk just down to Memorex. You can see here the pinch roller is actually built into the cartridge rather than being part of the machine. But I remember when I was growing up, you used to see these things, well, not just when I was growing up, you used to see these things everywhere where people have thrown them out of car windows in disgust. And there'd be tape flippering away in the wind, or as vehicles passed. Oh dear, yes, happy days. I have to say this cartridge seemed a little bit better made than some, because that was something else to look out for. Some manufacturers, they weren't too choosy about the tape they used, and it could be rather crapulous. Going to a sticky goo, or just getting sticky so that it would snag on the playhead. The same was true of some of the budget brand pre-recorded cassette tapes, in all fairness. Music for Pleasure, they used to give trouble like that. And I can always remember my mum with her classical music. She had many cassette tapes from Music for Pleasure that she got over the years, and one by one they seemed all drop dead. Yeah, so I was quite busy there for a while transferring them to TDK tapes, I think it was, back in the day. But yeah, this one's quite nice. There's plenty of rigidity there from all those little spines that they've built into it, if you will. And it's nice and clean inside. I was dreading finding loads of gingerbread and crap in there from the old foam when I took it apart, but no, it seems okay. Don't know if it will play again. It's very difficult to say. The trouble with these things was that because you couldn't see the spools moving like you can on a cassette or a reel-to-reel machine, the only sign of any trouble was when the bloody thing stopped playing suddenly. And then you pull it out of the slot and all this spaghetti had come out behind it, and you'd then have to delve into the machine. Not recommended with this one because it's mains only. Akai, smashing make, and well, they always seemed more at home making reel-to-reel machines. They were known for that, weren't they? Very nice pieces of kit indeed. But yep, they made quite a few like this. Some with the built-in amplifier, some like this one with just a preamp and a recording setup. Quite unusual, this one. It's got a fast forward button. All that does is to speed the tape up to 7.5 IPS instead of 3 3/4. And that's something else. Because it ran at a higher speed, you see, quite a lot of damage could be done before you even realised if the tape broke. Anyway, so we hope that this works, but don't be too disappointed, James, up there in Bradford, if it doesn't. Let me put it that way. It looks as if it ought to, but 8 tracks were fickle things at best. And it's no surprise that people went for the more reliable cassette tape, or stuck with their reel-to-reel machines, really, in many cases, or their vinyl. Yeah, sad thing, the 8-track. It could have been quite good, but quite good was about as far as it got. You get a decent one and a decent machine, and everything's in apple pie order, they can sound pretty good as they go. But alas, due to cheapo tapes and cheapo tape inside sometimes, and poor manufacturing, then the lining up the head to play only the track you were listening to and not part of another track, in the end people just couldn't be bothered, I think, and so stuck with the cassette. Anyway, so there's only one thing to do. See if this thing will actually go. I'm going to have to put the camera down to clip it back together, I'm afraid. Well, I think I will anyway. Carefully lower the top half onto the bottom half. Press thus. And click, click. When it's back together, touch wood. That's all I can really say. Oh dear. What are we? Where are we? Yeah, put it into this one, I think. I'm running out of plugs in here. Oh, there we are. Tink. Let's come back on. Whether this will work or not is anybody's guess, I'm afraid. If I'm remembering right from, well, I probably haven't done what I've just done since the 1980s, so... Okay, here we go.
Down the ditches 1,000 years, the waters grew Irish people's crops, till the white man stole their water rights, and the sparkling water stopped. Now Irish folks were hungry, and their land grew crops of wheat. When war came, Irish volunteered, and forgot the white man's greed. All him country days, he won't answer anymore. But the whiskey drinking
Well, so far, so good, touch wood. Anyway, see you soon.